Happy Thursday, happy Thursday, happy therapy Thursday. You miss me? It is Transforming Trauma podcast with Dr. Triffy. I missed last Thursday because my baby girl was in town and she came to spend some time with her mommy. So I took last Thursday off. But tonight, I am back. Tonight, I'm back. When you come on, I want to know where you're listening to me from tonight. Huh? Where are you listening to me from? Type that in the chat when you come in. Where are you listening to me from? Let me know. I am in South Georgia tonight. I'm not in Atlanta. Tonight I'm in a hotel room and I have finagled my little backdrop because I want to keep talking on Thursday nights. Tonight I'm sharing nine lessons I have learned from spending my time and hours of my life listening to the Reesa Teesa 52-part series. I haven't listened to all 52 episodes. I must confess, Simone. How are you? Simone, have you listened to that Reesa Teesa story? So, y'all, y'all, y'all know who I am. I'm Dr. Triffy. I'm a licensed psychologist in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not in Atlanta right now, but I practice in the state of Georgia. I show up on Thursdays to talk about trending topics, interesting and important psychological topics. I want to teach skills and strategies to help us think better so we can feel better and do better. Now, everybody and their mama, everybody and their mama has listened to, has seen, has watched Risa Tisa's story. And so, what I thought I would do is that tonight I want to share some lessons I think we can pull from her story to make it be valuable. Yeah, to make it be valuable for us. So, the title of her series hmm, is called Who TF Did I Marry? Who the friends did I marry? It's not who the friends, but I can't say it on here. Fill in the blank. I think it's a cautionary tale. What's a cautionary tale? A cautionary tale is like a story that we listen to and we're like, okay, I should take this lesson from that. Yeah, it's a cautionary tale about love that went wrong, it went sideways. It's a story about how people lie and they know they're lying. Yeah, it's a story about how we love as human beings, how people love, and how we live. Yeah. So here are some statistics on that viral story. I prepared this last week. So my data was from around March 1. Yeah. As of March the 1st, today is the 14th, on TikTok, that series had received over 437.4 million collective views on TikTok. Yeah. So people are listening and new creators are giving their side of the story, giving some of their own personal experiences and relating it to her story. And so as of March the 1st, her series had garnered over 437.4 million collective views. What is the story? What is the Who TF Did I Marry story? What is it? So, Reesa Teesa, that's not her real name, okay? But that's her social media name. Reesa Teesa's 52-part TikTok series, it's taken the internet by storm. The story is about her marriage between her and a man that she called Legion. Do you all know what Legion means? Okay, I thought I would do this. I thought I would go to the source. And Legion is actually from a Bible story. I'm going to read a little bit of Bible story for you tonight. It's the story of the demon and the pigs. No, if you grew up in the Caribbean, I'm originally from Dominica in the Caribbean. Dominica, not to be confused with the Dominican Republic. We love them, but they're up north. They're connected to Haiti. We are further south. We are between Guadeloupe and Martinique. If you grew up in Dominica, you would have grown up with a lot of Rastafarians. And the Rastafarians do not like swine. They call it swine. And a lot of them use that story, yeah, to justify why they don't eat pork. Hmm? So listen to the story. It's from Matthew 8:28 to 34. On the other side of the sea, they arrived in the region of the Gerasenes. As soon as Jesus got out of the boat, he was met by a man with an unclean spirit who was coming from the tombs, tombs as in graves. This man had been living in the tombs and could no longer be restrained, even with chains. Though he was often bound with chains and shackles, he had broken the chains and had shattered the shackles. No, there was no one with the strength to subdue him. Night and day in the tombs and in the mountains, he kept crying out and cutting himself with stones. When the man saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees before him, and he shouted in a loud voice, "What do you think? What do you want? What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you before God not to torture me." For Jesus had already declared, "Come out of this man, you unclean spirit." "What is your name?" Jesus asked. "My name is Legion, for we are many." Yo, that line right here. My name is Legion, for we are many. She called her ex Legion because Legion reminded her of the man with all of these demons that Jesus had to cast them out. And what ended up happening with the story is that Jesus sent the spirits. They asked Jesus actually to send them into the pigs. Just a crowd of pigs were close. And the demons begged Jesus to cast them into the pigs. You know what they did? The poor pigs went and just destroyed themselves. Right. So Reesa Teesa named her ex Legion, suggesting that there are perhaps in her mind several of him, like as if he's got different personalities or very different ways of being that it was hard for her to keep up with. So he was many things and there were many sides to him. And her little documentary, which took the world by storm, you'd see people, I mean, there were doctors sitting in their offices, couldn't wait for the next episode to drop, people all over the world watching. It's a documentary, really, of red flags that she missed, I think. It's a documentary of red flags that she missed, intentionally or unintentionally. When I say intentionally, do you think we miss red flags intentionally? I think so. I think so for many reasons, and I'll talk about them a little later. So, Legion, as she calls him, I don't know his name. In Dominica, we say in our Creole language, "C'est pas moi qui nen Lee," as in, I'm not his godmother. Yeah. And she never comes out to say his name. He ends up showing up and saying, "Well, I am he," but she describes the man as his Legion. And so to Reesa Teesa, he presents himself as a wealthy and successful man who had played in arena football and who had saved up so much money that, according to him, he could pay cash $700,000 for a house. Over time, he reveals himself to her, in her words, as a manipulator and as a liar, and somebody who engages in strange behavior, bizarre behavior. The way she tells the story and the way she recounts her experiences is so thrilling. You almost forget that it's actually somebody's real life and that she actually lived through all of that pain. And so millions, of course, have been transforming her story into a viral sensation. How does the story begin? The story begins with COVID-19. Man, that COVID has done a number on so many of us in so many different ways. She says that their relationship moved really fast because they had just met and COVID is starting to bloom. And I myself remember when I had to close my practice in Georgia because Governor Kemp said it's lockdown time. So there she is, and she's got a 3 bedroom and he's got a studio. What's a studio? A studio is an apartment where there's not a real bedroom. Yeah, so it's just everything is just in one. He's got a studio, and he tells her at the onset of the relationship that the reason he's got a studio, although he's got so much money saved up, is because he's actually trying to buy a house. Yeah, he's in the process of buying a home, and so he's saving every penny he can get, and so he's making the sacrifice. Good man, yeah. Yeah, wouldn't you think that's a good thing? Yeah, it's a possible red flag, as in you might think to yourself, well, if you have so much money, why are you living in a studio where you don't even have a bedroom? You know, but on the other side, you might say, wow, what a stoic, what a strong man who's able to make such sacrifices for him to create a better life for himself. So, COVID is coming. Do you remember how the onset of the lockdown process felt? How frightened we were, how confused, how nobody knew really what was coming next. There was so many things happening at that time. And so what Reesa Teesa says is that as lockdown begins, although her religious beliefs say don't shack up, don't move in with a man until you're married, she says, yes, let's move in together because she doesn't want to be alone during lockdown. Red flag, we have our strong values, our strong beliefs, but sometimes under pressure we cave. Under pressure we cave. So she caved. Although on the other side, as a human being, can you not understand and can you not remember how frightening COVID was and how much better you might have felt if somebody who really likes you, although you've just met, wants to move in? I think I can relate to that. I think that makes sense to me. Plus, she says, who's not going to relate to that one? Plus, she says, in her 3 bedroom, he comes in and he pays most of the house bills. Yeah, so she pays for her things like her individual bills, but he covers the house bills. Who doesn't like that? How many girls don't like a dude who's out there paying for everything? Yeah, so um, I think I can relate to her on her reasons why the relationship moved so fast on one hand, and on the other hand, still she was going against every gate she had put in her life to help her measure and make balanced decisions. Every gate, there was a reason that she used to let every gate fall. But how many of us can relate to that? Who hasn't done that in their life? Yeah. Soon, though, Legion's stories start to fall apart. Many of us think we know people until we start to live with those people. And then we really start to see behind the veil. So as she starts seeing behind the veil, all of his stories about his professional accomplishments, he said he was a regional manager of, I think, the Southeast region of something, that would have supported his claim about making a lot of money, starts to crumble. And the revelation of his true nature as a serial liar. She calls him a pathological liar, hmm, with a knack for manipulation. That all comes to light. Here's something I really give her credit for. I give them credit for because at the bottom of it all, y'all, we're all human beings. We're all human beings. Yeah. And people come to be who they are based on what happened to them in their lives, based on what decisions they made. Very often we make these decisions as kids and we haven't had a chance to really adjust them. We haven't had maybe the resources, or we haven't had the encounters that force us to change and straighten up. For them, despite all of that, they try to rectify the situation. So they do get married and they go to counseling. I really applaud the both of them for that. I really applaud them for that. So I two things that really made me like, dude, were one, what she says that she gets pregnant, she becomes pregnant and she miscarries the baby. And she's at the hospital and she's calling and calling and calling him, and he keeps putting, like, keeps, like, I can't come right now, I'm busy right now, and keeps putting off the time before he comes to see about her. Hmm? The second thing was, how uh, women want to buy their little house and settle down, and there he is, he comes and he says, yes, yeah, I'm looking for a house too. So, yeah, we're perfectly matched. And as he moves into her house, of course, she starts coming up with, well, hey, maybe it's time for us to buy our house. Hey, you did say that you were in a studio because you were saving up to buy a house. So let's go house hunting. That poor lady said they must have seen 20 something houses, 20 something houses. And come to find out, that man had no intention of buying a house. Why? Because he did not have any money. So he has I don't know what word is that, like gumption. They actually come close to making a deal on a house, and the other, the seller's realtor is saying, well, the seller wants to see that you can actually buy the house. So yes, the house is right about 700,000, but we need to see proof of funds. Well, he starts, how people who are lying, they come up with all sorts of things like, feeling affronted. Why do they need to see my proof of funds? No, we need to sign the contract first. And they go back and forth and back and forth to the point where the realtor she'd been working with, like it became really nasty. They had to drop him. So there she is, poor woman, no house. Mm. I think I felt very bad for her with that one, because I know how most of us, when you get to a certain age, you want to have your own place. You want to have your own place. You don't want to be renting anymore. And you meet this person who is selling themselves to you like they've got it under control, and it's all a lie. So here are some of my thoughts. I'll say my little review of the story. As you read and as you listen, you realize that some people criticize her and they say she's trying to get clout by telling her story. Well, I don't agree with that, because clout, to come out and tell people your deepest, most private, and most personal, I don't know that I would say she's trying to get clout. Yeah, she went on Tamron Hall's show, and she said, this is not the way to get clout, because you're literally opening up yourself to the whole world, to criticism, too. And how comfortable is that? Yeah. Some people have called her a pick me. Y'all know what's a pick me woman? A pick me woman is a woman who's like, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, please, please. I want to be with you. Yeah. Pick me, pick me. A woman who will do practically anything to say they are in a relationship, who's willing to burst all of their barriers, right? Break through all of their gates, all their little values, give it up because they're in love with the idea of being married or being in a relationship. That's a pick me. I don't know that I would go so far. I mean, I think that's going a little too far because we're all human beings again, and for many of us, for many people, being married is a value and an accomplishment that they're trying to acquire. So I don't know that I would say that. I don't know that I would go so far. Some people are saying that she was wrong to believe him because her appearance is not what men are looking for. I like Kevin Samuels. You remember Kevin Samuels? That man who used to talk really nasty about, in my mind, nasty about women who were not a certain weight, hmm, and who didn't have a certain kind of physical appearance. So she says, in response to that, how I look should not dictate whether or not I should have, I deserve to have gone through the things I went through. If she wasn't what that person physically wanted, why did you come approaching her? Why not leave her alone if you didn't want her physically? And number two, there are many people who are physically attracted to heavier women. Many people. So I I'm not gonna go along with that one. Yeah. I think when we're being honest, if you live long enough and if you had I'll say if you didn't have the fortune of meeting somebody, maybe your first love, and you married that person and you lived with that person for all of your life, many people have similar experiences to this woman. Yeah. What happens is you meet a person and you expect the best. You expect the best, and you a lot of us go in and we're like, and we're hoping for the best. Yeah. I think that's very human. I think many people can relate. And I think that might be part of why so many people connected to the story. So here is another thought. I think no matter what, no matter what about this story, it's going to help somebody. It's going to help somebody if they're willing. If they're willing to pay attention. So here are my 7 lessons, my personal 7 lessons. Yeah. Number one, although marriage is a high ideal in many cultures, probably in your culture, although it's a beautiful thing, I've talked about this before. Many people do better when they're married. Yeah, financially, physically, emotionally, if the marriage is good. But from here to there, from here when we meet to there, when we create our lives together, from here, trust what you're hearing because that's all you have until you verify. Trust until you verify. In a smaller community, that's easy to do. We grow up together, we're in the same church, we went to the same school. I know your mom, you know my sisters. But when you move from your little village or your little community and you go into those bigger cities, you might be needing to do a background check in this day and age. You might be needing to go with someone. I say go with someone versus to wait for the results because this guy was able to come up with bank letters, with bank, what do you call it, letterheads, saying, yes, I got approval and I got this and I got that. So going with a person to get a health check to rule out any STDs. So you know what you're getting into in 2024. Yeah. Infatuation is really like a drug. I've said this before. Infatuation is like a drug. So don't expect yourself when you meet a person in the beginning to be thinking clearly. We know it doesn't work that way. But have your little systems in place. Well, I need to at least check this off. I need to at least check this off. I need to at least check this off before making huge decisions like moving in with a person. Hmm? Um, there's one teacher that I like to listen to. Her name is Dr. Pat Allen, who says, really, you need 4 seasons with a person. Give a person 4 seasons, a year. Give a person a year before you sign big legal situations with them, like marrying or buying a car together or buying land together. Yeah. Having children together. Yeah. Number two, lesson number two, trust your intuition because intuition is very powerful. So often we see, earlier I said intentionally or unintentionally, she saw the red flags and she ignored them. Yeah. Very often we see things and we sense things. We see when they turn the phone upside down. We see when they kind of look a little uncomfortable when a certain number, a text message pops up on the phone. We see little things that don't add up. And there are parts of ourselves responding, but we run over them again. We burst through those gates because of infatuation. And I think sometimes it's some of us don't even have those little checkpoints to keep us safe. So we just go on. We just go on and we go through. When you start recognizing that you're making excuses for a person's behavior, for their bad behavior, for lying, you catch a person in a nasty lie. When I say nasty lie, I mean something like somebody telling you they graduated from the University of Georgia and you come to find out that's a lie. To me, that's a deal breaker because that suggests to me that this person is a powerful liar. That's a legion kind of personality to make up a lie like that. To say something like, I have no children, but they have 2 kids. Yeah. Those are big lies. Yeah. So when things like people, there are some people, and things like sometimes things start small. Somebody will say, yeah, I'm going to call you at 6 o'clock tonight. You're at the phone waiting. 6 o'clock comes and passes, and they didn't call. And the next day comes, and they haven't called to explain, hey, I'm so sorry. This is what happened. I'm so very sorry I left you waiting. This is a horrible sign, y'all. So we have to take stock as these things are happening and either challenge it right off the bat if it's a mistake. Although, what kind of mistake is that? Yeah. To me, those things are very telling about a person's character. So they seem little and we can brush them off because your body is going ding, 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 or they've said some things that make it seem like, yeah, they're the ideal one. But over time, that kind of behavior is very destructive, very painful. Investigate. Let's investigate. Okay. Lesson number 3, depend on people you love for their insight, their input. Yeah. Collaborate with the people who love you when it comes to evaluating a new person. Sometimes, because we're very intoxicated, or sometimes because of the person's personality, they might be trying to isolate you from the people who love you. No, 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 no. Reesa says something like there's an instance where the guy, her family calls, and he basically tries to distance her from her family. No, 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 no. I think also it's important. It is important as part of the getting to know a new person phase. Again, especially if you didn't grow up in the same community, you got to go up, make at least one visit to that person's home, like their hometown, and learn what other people say about them. I just think these days it's rough out there, or it's rough out there. Yeah. Learn what other people are saying about them. They tell you that did XYZ. Find out, because there are people out there who are not as conscientious as you. Hmm? They don't want the same things as you, even if they go so far as to look for houses with you. And they tell you they have $700,000 waiting to go down on a house. Yep. Number four, stick to your values even in times of crisis. I think that one got her. Like the don't shack up. And she says she's doing it, but she's feeling uncomfortable even as they're living in the space together. Yep. Stick to your values even in times of crisis. It's in times of crisis and high stress that we say, you know what, forget about it. Yeah, I'm just okay. I know I should, but yeah, we go ahead and we do things anyway, although we have very strong beliefs against those things. I mean, that adds up. Yeah, that adds up. That's not good for you. Number five, it's okay to admit you need more time. You might even be engaged already, and a particular behavior or habit shows up, or a way of being, that the person maybe promised that they would let go of. They're not letting it go. They're not making the adjustments. And the wedding date is coming, wedding date is coming, wedding date is coming. It's okay to admit you need more time. It's okay to put it on pause. It's okay. Like I said, a huge lie. You find out something, you go into the person's stuff and you realize, oh my God, I didn't realize that. They never told me XYZ. Or they said this, and this is completely opposite. Take your time. Take your time. Things like finding out your person was arrested. I don't care what for. I don't care what for. Why? Because as minor as it is, that suggests that the person was doing something that was very rule breaking. It met criteria with somebody as breaking rules, breaking laws. So that's important. You might still go ahead and say, you know what, we're human beings. They made up for this. Okay, we'll move forward. But don't pretend you don't know. Don't pretend as if it's not a problem, especially if you're feeling anxious about it. Yeah. So it's okay to pause. It's okay to pause. And that pressure that a lot of people put on themselves about getting married or about being in a relationship, again, sometimes that pressure is very heavy. You have your family talking to you about you. Your church might be saying, hey, you might need to settle down. Da, 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 da. A lot of people have a lot of these kinds of pressures on them. I get it. But better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. Number six, that calls for you to lean into your vulnerability, as in you're not perfect. Yeah, I made a mistake. I know I'm head over heels in love with them, but I cannot move forward with them. That takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of courage. Something that keeps a lot of people hooked is the idea that, well, I made the mistake already. I'm just gonna stay in it. Well, you have every right to stay in it, but usually these things don't get better. It's okay to admit you didn't see the bad behavior or the mistake or the lying in time. Yeah. In time before you all set a wedding date. It's okay that you didn't catch it. Why? Because again, most of us go into connecting with people with pure hearts, good intentions. You don't expect a person to be lying to you, although there are many liars out there. And this is man and woman. In this instance, it's a man lying, but women do the same thing. This is not gender specific, okay? It's okay to wait, okay? It's okay to be vulnerable and ask for help from other people, from people you love. Hey, this is how I'm feeling. I'm seeing this. What do you think? Hmm? I'm seeing that. I don't like it. I don't know. Yeah. What do you all think? Okay. You are not wrong for believing a liar who says that you're lying in a relationship. It's not your fault that you believed a liar. You didn't know they were a liar. Now, once you realize that they've lied and you make choices, to stay and encourage it without addressing it or figuring out how to get some help, that's a different thing. Yeah. Number seven, look for lessons. Look for what situations show up to teach you. Nobody's perfect. We're human beings. I mean, even what's this guy's name? Even his name is Charlemagne the God. He's what kind of name? Well, let me. I thought I was talking to my girlfriend, but he was saying something really nasty about the lady. We're all human beings. Everybody, anybody is vulnerable to this because you don't know where you meet people. You don't know people until you know people. So if you've gone through a situation like that, and I guess if you've lived long enough, you might have. Yeah, look for the lessons. Wisdom ought to come from experience. So for somebody like Reesa Teesa, good God Almighty, if we heard 2 years from now that she chose another person like that, we would have to look at her sideways and say, aren't you learning anything? You know what I mean? What were the lessons? Put time and effort into identifying where you make the mistake because it's you that's going to be in the situation 2 years from now. And take responsibility for what you could have done different, for what you chose to ignore, like your faith that says don't shack up. Yeah. And take a little time to get to know people. Yeah. Your issue might be gullibility. Naivete is cute on kids. Being naive is sweet and cute on children and babies, not on adults. Hmm? So you can't be too enamored and in love with the idea of being the wife of a regional manager. Yeah, we can go to London. Yeah, you can't be more in love with that than reality. Yeah, single is just fine. The single life is just fine. I know a lot of people try to say it in such a way that really puts a lot of pressure on single people, but single people are having a ball out there. Okay? And single is better than married and in pain. Okay? This kind of stuff comes with grief recovery. You got to recover. I think what she was doing with the series was healing herself because talking about it, writing about it, she didn't necessarily write, but she created. She used the pain to create something beautiful. Yeah. So you turn the focus back to yourself and see what can I do in a different way? What did I miss so that I don't miss it 2 months from now, 2 years from now? The job of grief, I mean, think about it. This lady, I mean, all her family know this man. Yeah, all her friends. They married. She got pregnant, miscarried. Yeah, almost got her house that she had been dreaming about. Yeah, fantasizing about. All of that lost, gone. Yeah, recovering from grief. There's a model called the tier model of grief for any situation, right? Is the T is to accept the reality of the loss. So you've been looking for a good man for how many years? Yeah, you finally find somebody who says that they're all in, they're ready to buy a house, let's have babies. And it falls apart in that kind of fantastically negative, yeah, manner. That's a painful thing. So, first, we have to accept the reality of the loss. E is we have to experience the pain of the loss. A lot of us, we don't want to experience the pain of the loss. We go right next to the next person. We think getting a new husband is going to fix the pain. They even tell us to get over someone, you got to get under somebody else. Look, those of you who've tried that, let me know how that worked. A is to adjust to your new environment without that lost person. So you start creating little rituals, little ways of being with a person when you get together. And when they're not there, you have to create new rituals, new routines. And R is reinvest in your new reality. I am really digging her way of getting, creating a new reality because there she is. I'm one of my wishes for her. I mean, I don't know this lady, but one of my wishes for her is that she makes so much money. She earns that $700,000 to be able to buy herself her dream home. Okay. So, number eight, lesson number eight, any grief, any grieving situation. Yeah. It could be a loss of a child, loss of a family, loss of a home, loss of a job, loss of a pet, loss of a spouse. Use that tier model to get past the grief. Yeah. And we get past grief when we get to a place where, the pain eases up, I think, enough, where we get enough energy to begin to do new things. Yeah. To forgive ourselves for our part. Once we've identified the mistake, forgive ourselves or what part of ourselves might have said yes to the nasty experience or to the painful experience. Learn. Learn ourselves. Learn yourself so that you minimize the chances of repeating the mistake. Yeah. So next time, she might say something like, yeah, I'm attracted to this dude. Yeah, he's got a lot of money, but is he kind? Is he honest? Yeah. And if he's not kind and if he's not honest, even if he's a millionaire, it's an X for me. It's a no for me because I know what that might turn out to look like. And getting past, moving forward, really growing might look like talking to a friend, talking to a therapist, writing about it, like I said, journaling, creating your story on TikTok. Yeah. And even as you're in your pain, you can do more than one thing at the same time. So you're in your pain, but you're figuring out your new life. Yeah. You're thinking about, oh my God, I had it all together. Yeah. But you're creating new traditions by yourself. Yeah. You're missing your old life and you're missing being with him. Although he was a son of a gun, you enjoyed his cuddles. Yeah. There you are. You're forming new relationships and you're creating new experiences for yourself. So we have to do that. We have to do those things to recover from people who we didn't plan for. And finally, nine, finally, and again, marriage is a valuable experience. It's a beautiful experience. Don't give up on love and marriage, but trust and then verify. Trust and then verify. As we started, that's how we're ending. Trust. All you have is what a person says. So you're not going to be walking around through life thinking that everybody's just lying to you. So, yes, take what people are saying to you at face value. That's the trust part. But confirm it. Confirm it. You do not know what's in people's minds. Yeah. I think we got to test people. Me, I think. Test people. See how people react under pressure, under stress. Yeah. When we're infatuated, it does work like a drug. But common sense has got to prevail if you want to create something that's going to be good and lasts. I have nothing against a background check. I have nothing against a health check because love doesn't have to, I don't have to be risking my life. Talking about love. Yeah. Love and life, those things go hand in hand. Love and death, no honey. Yeah. So I really admire Reesa Teesa's her willingness to be vulnerable, to be honest, to be true, to really look at herself. And she does that throughout the series, looks at her part, You know what she might have done different. Even as she's saying things, she's saying, "Yeah, I can see. You all might say, you all might come at me for that one, but this is how I was feeling in the moment." I love that she keeps learning and growing. So I think last week or maybe earlier this week, she signed up with a talent agency who's going to be helping her curate her work, because that's her work. She turned something really painful into something beautiful. Yeah, that was so powerful it spread around the world. I like that Reesa Teesa moved away from that idea that black women are just strong. Yeah, you got to be strong. You can take it. You can take anything. You might be able to take anything, but you don't have to take anything. Yeah, you might be able to take anything, but you're also vulnerable and you're also hurting. And it's okay to say, I'm hurting. It's okay to say, oh no, that's too much for me. It's okay to say that and still be beautiful in black. Hmm? And most of all, she's funny about it. She's funny about it. Yeah, so she didn't lose her sense of humor. And she goes through the whole 52 series kind of just chuckling at herself, just laughing at herself. And I admire that. Yeah, I admire that. So these are my 9 lessons from the Risa Tisa story. And y'all, we're all trying to make our little way around this little life. Mm? I appreciate Risa Tisa for opening her little boyo in Creole. In English means your bosom, yeah, your insides. Um, I've told people that by the time I'm done with transforming trauma, Americans will understand Creole, Creole language. But yeah, before you open up yourself, yes, be cautious, but at least in relationships, but it is also okay to open up yourself when you're in pain, because that's one way to heal. That's a powerful way to heal. That's a powerful way to take the power of, if some of us, what we do instead is we keep it a secret and we just suffer. She might have gone to the mental hospital if she was not brave enough to talk about it like that. Yeah, because that kind of situation is very painful. But instead of just keeping quiet and just keeping it all to herself, she's putting it out there. So I really appreciate it. Check it out, Simone. Check it out. It's very cool, very interesting. Um, Elizabeth said she watched 2 episodes. It's really something else. Legion does mean many demons, and there are many people walking around who are very disturbed, who are very disturbed. I mean, I was talking to a man this afternoon. I told you I work at a prison right now. And he said something to the effect, he's in a crisis state right now. He said, I've taken out 9 people already. I'm ready to take myself out and I'm ready to take other people out. You know what I mean? Thankfully, he's in a safe space, so it's not as if he can go out and do it. But if you met that person, you're walking next to that person, would you know that that's what was in that person's mind? No, you do not know what's in other people's minds. And they can be smiling to you, but plotting against you in the same breath. Yeah. So to know people, it takes time. Yeah, it takes time to know people. So give yourself that time. Yeah. Veronica Sakafet. Hi, Naya. How are you? Doc Sakafet. Happy Thursday. My brother Anthony, you're late and you're here. Look, better late than never, eh? Huh? My friend Rice Sakafet. Good evening. Bless up, my brother Gabriel, David Gabriel Sakafet. But yeah, y'all, if you get a chance, watch a couple episodes. Um, I hope they turn that into a Lifetime movie, talking about the strong black woman syndrome. I'm just really proud of her that she turned that potentially really just debilitating situation into something powerful, funny, beautiful, accessible, relatable to so many people. Yeah. I just say, like we say, bless up, more power to her, more power to her, because that kind of stuff can break and has broken a lot of people. And I'm happy to watch her say, no, you're not going to break me. Instead, I'm going to laugh about this and I'm going to share it and let the world do with it what they will. So that's my offering for y'all tonight. I hope y'all are having a lovely Thursday. I'm having a lovely Thursday. Like I said, today I feel a little physically tired, but my mind is bright and sharp, and I couldn't wait to share this Reesa Teesa. Who TF? Who the friends? It's not friends, but who the F did I marry? Okay? Happy Thursday, y'all. Okay, parler en l'autre fois. If you didn't understand that, that means we'll talk again very soon. All right? Peace.